Hello all my beautiful friends. Welcome back to my cosmic realm once again. Today I have some huge updates to share with you regarding the future of the Monsterverse after the huge commercial success of Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. The first major development comes from Apple TV, who has now officially confirmed that they have renewed Monarch Legacy of Monsters for a second season on their official Twitter page. What is even more satisfying to know is that the head of international development for Apple TV himself, Morgan Wandel, has revealed that apart from Monarch Season 2, he also has huge plans for expanding the Monsterverse into a major cinematic universe going forward by developing many more spin-offs. But that is not even the best part of what I intend to share with you in this video. The absolute best part of this whole thing is that Adam Wingard, who is the director of GVK as well as The New Empire, has hinted us about a Godzilla Kong crossover trilogy, which basically means we are getting yet another big-budget crossover movie featuring this very beautiful hairy gentleman and this absolutely gorgeous atomic lizard over here. So, those haters and trolls who were claiming that Godzilla x Kong would be the last and final movie in the franchise, have suddenly transformed into John Cena because you literally cannot see them anywhere at the moment. Before we analyze and do a detailed breakdown of all these updates, I am just going to request you to spend just 1 second of your time to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, because that is the only thing that motivates me to work harder and to bring you more and more such awesome contents. With that, let us now come back to the main topic again. To be quite honest with you, I am actually quite surprised to know that a good number of people, even those who claim to be huge fans of the Monsterverse, for some reason have chosen not to watch the first season of Monarch. The first season of Monarch personally for me is easily the best Monsterverse project that has been put out so far. The show focuses on the more darker elements of the franchise, very similar to the 2014 Godzilla movie, which is very different from the last 3 movies, which are visibly way more campier and colorful. If you want me to give you a comparison, I would say Monarch is actually better than most Marvel MCU Disney Plus shows and is almost as good as both seasons of Loki, Daredevil and Moon Knight. Unfortunately, Monarch did not receive even half the amount of marketing as those other shows that I mentioned, and was also subjected to a lot of negative reviews from wannabe critics and haters. But I guess we will have that discussion reserved for another day and bring our focus back to the main topic once again. As per reports, Monarch Season 2 is going to be set between the events of King of the Monsters and GVK. The events in the first season, as we know, took place about a year after Godzilla's attack at the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. The first half of the show was primarily focused on the history of Monarch and how it came into existence. The later half was easily the more exciting part of the show, which revealed some very shocking secrets about the organization, including the discovery of Axis Mundi, a specific region within the Hollow Earth where time slows down in comparison to the other regions within the Hollow Earth as well as on the surface world. In other words, Monarch Season 1 has introduced the possibility of traveling through time within the Monsterverse, which opens an entire world of possibilities to expand the franchise in several interesting directions. On the other hand, Godzilla x Kong has left us with a ton of unanswered questions during the course of its runtime, most prominently by this giant oversized skeleton over here, which somehow manages to make Kong look like a freaking insect. It is actually pretty mind-blowing to think that a titan which is almost as big as the size of 7 football stadiums combined was never even mentioned at any point up until now. The Monsterverse has in fact never backed away from referencing and talking about all the important historical Titan events, including the Great Titan War, which is why it is really surprising for me to know that a Titan as big as this creature over here was never even mentioned by Monarch or teased in any of these cave paintings. I believe this is where Season 2 of Monarch could come in to answer some of these questions. What if this massive oversized creature actually comes not from the past but from a time in the distant future, and is basically a genetically mutated Titan created by Apex Cybernetics? That would perfectly explain why there has been no reference or mention of this character, who is so enormous in size that it manages to make Godzilla look like a cute little monitor lizard. Season 1 also introduced a number of cool and interesting titans, most notably Frostvark and Ion Dragon, and we can definitely expect Season 2 to introduce and expand the roster of titans even further. That brings me to the next interesting revelation made by Apple TV regarding developing more spin-offs and expanding the franchise further. I think the primary idea behind Legendary Studios greenlighting more spin-offs is to combat the over-reliance of the franchise on the Big G and King Kong. If you think about it, every single Monsterverse project apart from Monarch has had either the Big G or Kong as the primary protagonist. While some of the most notable bad guys so far have been Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Rodan and Scar Kane. If we leave out the last one, all the other Titan are basically created and licensed by Toho and has literally nothing to do with Legendary Studios. If the Monsterverse really intends to develop into a major cinematic universe going forward, it needs to come up with more original and unique monsters of their own rather than relying on kaijus created by Toho every single time. To give you an example, the franchise needs to develop and come up with more titans like Shimo, who is unquestionably one of the best things produced by Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. Shimo is easily one of the coolest monsters I have witnessed in my life, and that comes from someone who has grown up watching Godzilla movies. I could be in the vast minority here, but I feel like even this little monster over here known as Titan Doug has been able to develop a certain level of fanbase. If the studio uses him in the right manner and is able to come up with some great ideas to take his character forward, I believe Doug has the potential to turn into the Monsterverse version of this walking tree creature popularly known as Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Shimo and Doug proves that with the right kind of ideas, Legendary Studios and Warner Brothers definitely has the potential to come up with their own unique self-made titans, which really opens up the possibility of coming up with some interesting spin-offs on these characters rather than relying on the big G every single time to sell tickets. This is what I believe is being teased by Mr. Wandel in this particular statement, which is actually extremely important if Warner Brothers really want the Monsterverse to continue for a long period of time and witness its growth as a major cinematic universe. With the kind of reception she got in The New Empire, I believe Shimo can definitely carry a standalone miniseries on her own at this point. Just imagine how insanely awesome it would be to witness a prequel miniseries focused entirely on the origins of Shimo set within the extremely gorgeous Hollow Earth. Since she is officially confirmed to be the very first Titan to walk on the planet, I believe the series can be used as a platform to answer some of the most burning questions which fans have in mind regarding the Hollow Earth. Coming to the last and final update, from director Adam Wingard's statement over here. It definitely looks like we are most certainly getting at least one more Godzilla and Kong crossover project at some point in the near future. In one of the other interviews with IGN last month, he also revealed that the next project will be more focused on the Big G, unlike the last two movies which were largely focused on Kong. So far as my prediction for its storyline goes, I am going to have to take you back to the very end of Godzilla x Kong, which establishes the Big G as the ultimate protector of the surface world while Kong takes up the responsibility to rule over the kingdom of the Hollow Earth. So with that in mind, I believe that Apex Cybernetics once again would somehow play the role of the main antagonist. If Legendary Studios are smart enough, they could have Apex Cybernetics responsible for the introduction of Biollante, who is another very popular kaiju from the Toho universe. For those who are not familiar with this very handsome gentleman over here, let me give you a quick overview. Biollante was basically created by a crazy scientist inside his laboratory by genetically fusing the DNAs of Godzilla, a human and a rose plant into a single cell. This is where I believe Legendary Studios can bring in Apex Cybernetics and have one of their arrogant employees carry out some crazy experiment which would eventually give rise to this massive oversized 420 feet tall mutated plant monster. As you can see, Biollante, much like Godzilla himself, was formed primarily due to exploitations on Mother Nature by human beings. So, their rivalry could actually be pretty intense and emotional if Legendary Studios decides to come up with a more dark and intense script, this time kind of similar to the first Godzilla movie in 2014. That is all I had to share in this video. Let me know your own thoughts regarding the future of the Monsterverse in the comments down below. And please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.